Hello dears, this is teacher Muntaha with you. I hope you are all fine. We miss you so much. Today in this video we will complete our material for 9th grade. As you remember, and I hope that you remember that we arrived until the last section of part 1. So I will ask you to open your literature book, page 122, and we will read it from the beginning until we arrive to the line that we have finished already. So page 121, 122, we'll start with it. So listen and follow up in your book.
When the last grain of corn was ground into flour, Kaddo called the girls together and said, "Now bring water from the spring. We shall mix it with the corn flour to make mortar out of it." So the girls brought water in water pots and mixed it with the flour to make a thick mortar. Then Kaddo ordered them to make bricks out of the mortar. "When the bricks are dry, then I shall make a wall of them around my house," he said. Word went out that Kaddo was preparing to build a wall of flour around his house, and the people of the town came to his door and protested. "You can't do a thing like this. It is against humanity," they said. "It's not right. People have no right to build walls with food," a man said. "Ah, what is right and what is wrong?" Kaddo said. "My right is different from yours because I am so very rich. So leave me alone." "Corn is to eat so that you may keep alive," another said. "It's not meant to taunt those who are less fortunate. When people are hungry, it is an affront to shut them out with a wall of flour," another man said. "Stop your complaints," Kaddo said. "The corn is mine. It is my surplus. I can't eat it all. It comes from my own fields. I am rich. What good is it to be rich if you can't do what you want with your own property?" The people of the town went away, shaking their heads in anger over Kaddo's madness. The 100 girls continued to make bricks of flour, which they dried in the sun. And when the bricks were dry, Kaddo had them begin building the wall around his house. They used wet dough from mortar to hold the bricks together, and slowly the wall grew. They stuck cowrie shells into the wall to make beautiful designs, and when at last the wall was done and the last corn flour used up, Kaddo was very proud. He walked back and forth and looked at his wall. He walked around it. He went in and out of the gate. He was very happy. And now, when people came to him, they had to stand by the gate until he asked them to enter. When the workers who plowed and planted for Kaddo wanted to talk to him, Kaddo sat on the wall by the gate and listened to them and gave them orders. And whenever the people of the town wanted his opinion on an important matter, he sat on his wall and gave it to them while they stood and listened. Things went on like this for a long time. Kaddo enjoyed his reputation as the richest man for miles around. The story of Kaddo's wall went to the farthest parts of the kingdom.
So my students, the beginning of page 122, if you remember, we have already discussed the beginning from line 45 until about 58, and the summary for these lines is talking about the idea of Kaddo when he decided to build a wall out of flour. So we talked about the reaction of the people of Tendella, and we said that they disagree with Kaddo, and they were so much angry because he decided to build that wall. So we'll continue from line 59, which is what is right and what is wrong, Kaddo said. My right is different from yours because I am so very rich. So leave me alone. And here we said, if you remember that there is something about Kaddo's character, that he was so much selfish, he was so much he looks for thing that the only thing that he wanted is to build the wall only. He didn't pay attention to any of the people's ideas or the people's reactions. So the following line 61, corn is to eat so that you may keep alive. Another said, it's not meant to taunt those who are less fortunate. So he's talking about that I have the right to build a wall of flour, and you don't have any right to disagree with me because this is my wall and this is my flour. And here we are focusing on these words. If you can see the word alive and the word taunt, less fortunate, and you have the meanings of these vocabulary following in your study sheet, page 3. So we'll continue now. Okay, we'll go back a little bit. Yes, next page. Okay, thank you. Now, when people are hungry, it is an affront to shut them out with a wall of flour. Another man said. So here we have the suggestions. We continue with the ideas from the people. They start to talk to Kaddo, and they said that when people are hungry, it is an affront to shut them out with a wall of flour. Another man said. So notice here that they disagree with Kaddo, and they start to say that it is an affront, and it means something bad, that you are treated us badly, and and we need to give you some good ideas in order not to build that wall. Then we'll continue with 65. Stop your complaints, Kaddo said. The corn is mine. It is my surplus. I can't eat it all. It comes from my own fields. I am rich. Again, the idea that he is rich and he will not listen to anyone. He will do the thing that he sees that it's right, which is building the wall of flour. Now, what good is it to be rich if you can't do what you want with your own property? Property, you have the meaning, you have the Arabic meaning in your study sheet, and the whole, yes, page 3, and it is numbered with 58. Then the people of the town went away, shaking their heads in anger. They were very angry. They didn't like his speech. They didn't like the way he's talking to them. So they tried to leave, but they didn't do anything, or they couldn't do anything for him. So Kaddo's madness, and they start to say that he is mad and he has a lot of bad things. He wants to do a lot of bad things for them, especially if you remember when he said, or he disagreed to give the corn seed for the poor people, or to lend those who had a bad harvest, or to do anything good for his people. He's only thinking about himself, building this wall, even though the people didn't like the idea. So the people of the town went away, shaking their heads in anger over Kaddo's madness. The 100 girls continued to make bricks of flour, which they dried in the sun. If you remember also, we talked about that he asked many girls and women to grind the corn for him, so he will have the flour to build the wall. So he continued asking them to make the bricks out of the flour by making the mortar. If you remember that we talked about that, which is the mixture between flour and water. So which they dried in the sun, and when the bricks were dry, Kaddo had them begin building the wall around his house. They used wet dough, and here the word dough, again this word is dough, for mortar to hold the bricks together. And slowly the wall grew. They stuck cowrie shells into the wall to make beautiful designs, and when at last the wall was done, and Next page, please. And the last cornflower used up, Kaddo was very proud. So at the end, he was very proud of his wall. He didn't listen to anyone. He continued building his wall. And by using the bricks that the girls had already made. Kaddo was very proud. He walked back and forth and looked at his wall. He walked around it. He went in and out of the gate. He was very happy. So here we can identify that he was very happy with his flower wall, because at last he did the thing that he sees that it's good for him and not for his people. And now when people came to see him, they had to stand by the gate until he asked them to enter. When the workers who plowed and planted for Kaddo wanted to talk to him, Kaddo sat on the wall by the gate and listened to them and gave them orders. And whenever the people of the town wanted his opinion on an important matter, he sat on his wall and gave it to them while they stood and listened. So he was so much happy with his wall, to the extent that if anyone came in order to talk to him or ask him for anything, he only sat on his wall proudly and very happy in this situation, in this way, and talk to the people or to the man who is wants anything with Kaddo. So the last part, that we have things went on like this for a long time. Kaddo enjoyed his reputation as the richest man for miles around. The story of Kaddo's wall went to the farthest parts of the kingdom. So here we can say that he became so much famous for his wall. His reputation, this word is reputation, became very popular, and it was in the whole kingdom of Suguli and the kingdom of Suguli. So everyone knows that he had built his wall, and he became very proud of that. So my students, before we continue our lesson, our literature lesson, the questions and what do we have next, we will read the vocabulary for you. I have already put them for you in the, yes, you can find them in the literature study sheet, page 3, started from word number 53, which is taunt. Again, this word is taunt, and you have the Arabic meaning in the study sheet. Taunt, it means that when you mock someone or treated him badly. Next, number 54, you have less fortunate, and you have the meaning. We are talking about the people who don't have a lot of chances in life. Next, you have also the word affront, which means in English something terrible that is said or done to another person. You can find the English meaning also in your study sheet. Next, you have surplus, which means the extra of things that you have, and here in Kaddo's wall, the corn or the seed corn, that it was the extra for him. Then you have property, which means also the thing that you own or you have. Then you have the word dough, and again the word dough. Then you have the word cowrie shells, which means shells that are smooth and have very bright colors, kind of shells to decorate something or to make it prettier or better in shape. Then you have the word designs, which means different patterns, different shapes of something. And the last word you have reputation, 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 reputation. So make sure that you memorize these vocabulary on page 3. The English and the Arabic meaning are very important. And then you will check the questions at the same page. Question number 1, 2, and 3. We have already done these for you. Then move to page 4. And also we have read, if you remember, number 4, 5, and 6. You still have number 7 and 8, which is talking about the last part of part 1, or the last section of part 1, and talking about how did Kaddo decorate the wall. I'm talking about how was the reaction from people to his wall. Now we'll move to next page, which is 124. As you can see, you have checked your reading, and we have some multiple choice questions about your reading comprehension depending on your understanding for the story. Number 1, Kaddo didn't know what to do because he, and the correct answer should be B, had too much corn. So number 1 is B. 2, a man suggested that Kaddo give some of his corn too. The correct answer is C, to people who were poor. And this is one of the suggestions that people said or told Kaddo about. Number 3, someone suggested that Kaddo, and the correct answer is A, sell some of his corn for cattle. Yes. Number 4, Kaddo finally decided to. Number 4, the correct answer is C, to build a wall of flour. So number 4 is C. Number 5, when the people heard what Kaddo was planning to do, they, B, the correct answer is B, they were angry. They were angry. Number 6, Kaddo often, he, what did he do often? So the correct answer is B. It's A. Yes, it's A. He sat on the wall and spoke to the people. 7, Kaddo had so much grain that it bulged in his granary. The word bulged means A, stuck out of. 8, they listened attentively and thought about his words. The word attentively means, of course, the correct answer is C, carefully. Now we'll move to the idioms of the story. We have number 9, the people heard the sound of the grindstones all day. The idiom all day means C, the whole day. C, the whole day. 10, Kaddo did not like what the people said. He told them, leave me alone. The idiom leave me alone means B, stay away from me. Stay away from me. So the answer should be B. Yes. Now we'll move to page 125, and you have the some questions from 1 to 10. And again, depending on your understanding for the story, you have number 1. Of course, you should make sure that you answer them all in your book, and I hope to see your answers in your book. So we'll start with question number 1. Where did Kaddo live? Question number 1. Where did Kaddo live? Kaddo lived in the town of Tindala, and this is the beginning of part 1, of course. Number 2. How many men and boys hoed Kaddo's fields? Hundreds of men and boys hoed Kaddo's fields. Number 3. How many women and girls planted Kaddo's corn? Again, hundreds of women and girls planted Kaddo's corn. Number 4. Where was the big meeting going to be? It was going to be in front of Kaddo's house. Number 5. What was worrying Kaddo? He did not know what to do with all his corn. Number 6. What did a man suggest Kaddo do with some of his corn? A man suggested that Kaddo give the corn to poor people. Number 7. For how many days and nights did the girls grind corn? The girls ground corn for 7 days and 7 nights. Number 8. What was Kaddo preparing to build around his house? He was preparing to build a wall of flour around his house. Number 9. What did they stick into the wall? They stuck shells into the wall. Number 10. After the wall was built, where did Kaddo sit when the workers wanted to talk to him? He sat on the wall. Next, we are on page 126, and again the exercise about putting events in order. You should be able to reorder the events depending on what happened in part 1. I have already done these for you, and you have to do part B as you know. So number 1, it should be C. Kaddo called the people of the town to a big meeting. Number 2, A. Kaddo said that he didn't know what to do with his corn. Number 3, it's F. People gave Kaddo some advice at the meeting. Number 4, Kaddo, it's E. Kaddo didn't like the advice he received. Number 5, G. The people heard that Kaddo was going to build a wall made of flour. And the last one, it should be D, which is Kaddo sat on his wall and gave orders. So number 1, C, number 2, A, number 3, F, number 4, E, number 5, G, number 6, B, and number 7, D. Next, on page 127, exercise C, adding vocabulary, and you have the box that has some vocabulary from part 1. I'll read them to you, then you have to put them in the correct place. Pause, fortunate, designs, opinion, protested, solution, announcement, harvested, surplus, and taunt. So as you can see, number 1, Kaddo was going to speak to the people. He was going to make an announcement. So number 1 is announcement. Number 2, each season Kaddo gathered a large amount of grain. He harvested more grain than he needed. Number 3, Kaddo did not agree with the advice they gave him. He did not think it was the solution to the problem. So solution to the problem. Number 4, they ground the corn without stopping once. They ground the corn without a pause. Number 4, pause. Number 5, the people did not like what Kaddo was doing. They came to his door and protested. Number 6, Kaddo had more corn than he could use. He had a surplus. Number 7, it was wrong of Kaddo to make fun of people. It was wrong of him to taunt them. 8, some people are lucky, others are not so fortunate. 9, they built the wall using bright, smooth shells. The shells made beautiful designs on the wall. And the last one, sometimes the people wanted to know what Kaddo thought. They asked him for his opinion. Now We'll do the last page here, depending on our weekly plan for this part. 128, exercise D, using verbs correctly. And here we have very simple exercise about present tense or present simple verb. And you know, of course, the form for this verb. You should know that we have the subject. If we have the singular subject, you should add to the verb s or es. And if you have a plural noun or the pronouns like they, we, you, and I, you should add the verb infinitive without anything. So you have the exercise, asks you to identify the subject, then add the verb, even infinitive, or you can add s to it or es, depending on the verb. For number 1 is done for you. So we start with number 2. We have the subject Kaddo, and we have the verb have. Well, I think that they are very easy to do. Kaddo here, it's subject, singular subject, so we'll have to say that Kaddo has many people working in his fields. Number 2, we have the verb, number 3, we have the verb plant. Hundreds of workers plow his land and then plant corn, because we have plural subject. Number 4, we have the verb carry. Travelers who pass through the town carry tales of his wealth to other lands. Number 5, one day Kaddo, you have calls, so it's gonna be calls all the people in the town to a big meeting. Number 6, everybody listens carefully to Kaddo because it's singular subject. 7, Kaddo asks the people what he should do with all the corn he has. 8, you have the verb give, so several people, and people here is a plural subject, so we put the verb give without any addition. Number 9, however, Kaddo say, of course, gonna be says that he doesn't like their advice. Number 10, he decides to build a wall of flour around his house, so we add s for the subject he. Thank you.